Hello and welcome to the open source silicon stream number 9. Good for you to join us, or maybe it's good for me to finally join us back again. The last couple of times I was out of the office at Hackaday Berlin and then Date last week. If you're in the channel, just give me a bit of feedback. Let me know if the audio is okay. I'm always paranoid about being too loud or too quiet. Hi Sylvan, hi Rohan, hi Leo, good to see you here. And just drop a comment about where you're tuning in from, what part of the world. One thing I love about the open source silicon community is how spread around the world you all are. So going to get started with some news as usual. And then the main topic for today is going to be looking at the IHP test chips and run a few designs on our first working silicon from IHP. Very echoey. Okay, thanks. Audio.
How about that? Is that better audio now? Maybe it was coming from a different camera. Now I've got to wait for the 1 minute YouTube latency for the check in the audio. Thanks. Okay, good. Glad that I asked. Yeah, so last couple of Mondays I've been out of office. I was at Hackaday Berlin, and then last week I was at Date in France, and it was great to see a lot of people there at Date. Lots of people using Yosis tools. That was really cool to see. I gave away a lot of Yosis stickers there and had some really fantastic conversations, and also a lot of enthusiasm and support for Tiny Tapeout in the current tapeout situation. So yeah, let's continue with the news. We've updated the eFabless shutdown. Let me change this topic. Updated the eFabless shutdown FAQ. And one of the things, let me just increase this font size there a bit. We are still waiting on our chats with CMC about getting access to Global Foundries. Global Foundries do say that they're interested in supporting us and making sure their PDK gets used in academic. Haven't heard from Jeff recently. He was interested in restarting the Sky 130 MPW. One bit of news that hasn't been confirmed yet is that Cadence are planning to run a Sky 130 MPW, and their provisional date is May, but we don't know anything really about that. David Junkin on LinkedIn is the person to follow to see for information about them, and as soon as we know any information, I'll be sharing it. And then we've got the IHP service. So as you know, the first chips from IHP were only available for loan, and that's because they're being paid for by German taxpayer, BMBF. But that could still be fine for some people who don't need to keep the chips. Maybe they just want to do a test and then they're happy to return them after 2 years, and they're in the EU. But the good news is that IHP are going to start a paid for silicon service. So you'll be able to send them your design and pay for it to get manufactured, and then we can send the chips anywhere. So we'll be running a shuttle, the first paid shuttle with them, either at the end of this year or beginning of next year. So that's where we are with the current shuttle situation. We're going to be sending out a questionnaire soon to the whole Tiny Tapeout audience to ask for what's important, whether they want a coupon for a future manufacturer, whether they're happy with the open source IHP run, this kind of stuff. So if you're on the mailing list, you'll expect to see an email from us in the next couple of weeks. And if you want to be on the mailing list, then you can sign up from the tinytapeout.com homepage. Also, just feel free to leave any questions in the chat as well if you've got any questions about these things. Texplained collaboration. So announced this last week on LinkedIn. We've partnered with Texplained. They're a French reverse engineering company. They do training, data extraction. They write their own tools for netlist extraction. They do imaging. They've got an SEM. They've got chemical, mechanical polishing. And we've partnered with them for them to do our decapping. So they shared some great images with us of tiny tape out 6, top metal. They were even able to remove metal 5, which is fantastic for us. That's like they never promised that, but they said they were going to aim to do it because the silicon art will all be on metal 4. So being able to get rid of metal 5 is fantastic for us to see that. And they even got I think this is optical actually still, but we've also got some, this is an SEM scanning electron microscope picture of the Caravelle pad frame. So yeah, thanks very much, Texplained. And if you need your chips imaged or secret data extracted, then get in touch with them. We're very happy to be working them. We've got tiny tape out 7 images on the way shortly. And Uri has put together using this framework that I think Silicon Prong uses as well. Let me just drop this link into the comments here. There we go. So you can pan, you can zoom right in, and it loads resolution as you go. So it's nice and easy to use. And yeah, you can zoom right in. That's Uri's oscillating bones ring oscillator. And then you've also got, so this is the microscope view from Texplained, but then you've also got the GDS render. So that gives you an ability to kind of easily find your design. So I can easily see this is my design. And then looking at under the microscope would be quite difficult for me to have worked out that's where it was. Just you see the power supply for that digital block is there, but the analog R2R DAC is completely hidden under the fill there. And then you've also got the local interconnect view, which is quite nice to see kind of which are the chunkiest designs. This one down here is, I think, Ray's Z80 with the ROMs from Sylvan. Maybe might be incorrect there. Someone can correct me in the comments if I'm incorrect. So super cool to have that viewer, and we'll be adding that to the chips going forwards. And we'll also link that from the chips page here. So you can get straight to the interactive viewer there. And if you want to download the high resolution images, we've got them over on Silicon Prawn. Thanks to John McMaster for that. So if you want to download these bigger images, I'll see these other SEM images like this one of Uri's close up on that skull and crossbones art. You can get all of that from Silicon Prawn. Sylvan's saying that that's a DF RAM. The ROMs are lost on Tiny Tape Out 9. Wow. Rohan saying, how will current geopolitics will affect these MPWs? That's a good question. I guess if you're in America, you can expect them to cost twice as much as before. Or maybe Trump will change his mind tomorrow and it will all go back to normal. There's no way of knowing. Maybe we'll end up doing like multiple runs. We'll do like runs with Skywater in America, and we'll do runs with IHP for Europe. You know, silicon supply chains stretch around the world 2 or 3 or 4 times. They're so long. So it's kind of ridiculous to think about being able to onshore the whole semiconductor supply chain just in one country. And there's very good reasons to spread it across different countries. So I don't know. I understand that it's like a political issue, but I don't think that the reality is going to be that people try to onshore the entire silicon supply chain. My point of view, I did an interview with Ed Conway. About the silicon supply chain. So I'll drop a link to that here in the comments. And he was a good person to talk to about that. And we had a bit of a discussion on the reality, like how likely it is really that you'd be able to do it, run the entire silicon supply chain just in one country. There's no country that's close to being able to do that at the moment. And I don't think it's gonna, it seems even less likely to happen now. So that's Texplained. I did a video on the 12-bit A to D on Tiny Tape out 7. Ricardo Nunes's 12-bit SAR A to D. Fairly crappy test, to be honest. I wasn't doing anything like getting the figure of merit, just basically checking that it was going to work. I did make a pull request, I think, on his repository. No, an issue. With a little bit of Python code that I wrote to be able to use the RP2040 to do sampling. And I was able to check that it was able to read like zeros, and with it connected to full swing and with it kind of roughly in the middle and with a generated sine wave. So if you want to see that working or learn a little bit about how a SAR A to D works, then you can check that out. I did a Berlin, the Hackaday Berlin. I did a lightning talk, which unfortunately I thought it was going to get recorded on video, but only audio was recorded. So I kind of reshot. Uri managed to do like a handheld recording of just one of my transistor raps. So if you were new to my semiconductor music, then check out that lightning talk and enjoy my. I think it was the Silly Whiz one. I've got 3 that I made for the Tiny Tape Out workshops, and then I re-recorded the in my studio the lightning talk that I presented. So you can check that out there. And then finally. Just want to encourage you all to sign the open letter on the urgency of access to open source chip manufacturing. So you can read the letter here and then scroll down to sign it. You don't need to be in the EU to sign this. Probably other people will make other letters for different regions. But basically, this is just addressing the fact that without eFabless, right now, there's no way to pay to get your open source design manufactured on silicon. And it's important that we remain access to that. So when the IHP paid shuttle comes up later this year or early next year, then that will be an opportunity. But we should probably have more, and taxpayer institutions like Europractice should probably make it easy for us to tape out our designs, our open source designs. So if you think that's important, then make sure to sign that letter with your name and affiliation. All right. Okay, so let's move on now to the topics of the day. IHP test chips. So we recently got, I think it was just after Hackaday Berlin, because we didn't have it for then, but I did have it for date. Sylvain did a little video here. So we can just jump in here. So these are the chips that we got sent from IHP, and they wire bonded them at IHP. We got two that were left with the lid off so that we could see the actual chips and the bond wires. We're going to get a little, there's the tiny tape out logo, bottom left-hand corner. Nice. And then these other ones where they basically kind of filled them with some kind of epoxy or something. Sylvain mentioned that it got a bit soft when he heated it up. Sylvain mounted me one on a board so that I could take it to date with me. And then Sylvain also did, so when was that published? That was on the day 2 weeks ago. And then Sylvain also did another live bring up. And yeah, I just want to just reflect also that it's, you know, nobody else does this, like a live silicon bring up of your test chips. So it's pretty awesome that we do it. Brave move to be running these test chips with a new PDK, with a new pad frame, with new standard cells, with all of this work being tested for the first time, and we're testing it live on a public stream. No one else is doing that, and something to be proud of. So I want to say thanks, Sylvain, for doing that, and also just for everybody to remember that with the open source tools and what we're doing here, we're really doing like world firsts that nobody else has the bravery to do. So it's a really cool thing to be doing and be a part of. So we've got this chip now, got all the designs here. So for this first chip, you can probably see it. If we go back here, actually, maybe it's a bit difficult to see. Just look the power over the top of it. Do I have a rendering? I think we do have a render. There we go. So you can probably see this has got quite different structure to our normal chips. And that's because we took all of these designs, 24 designs, and just merged them all into one big blob of Verilog, hardened it, and then taped it out on this chip. So we didn't have the multiplexer or the power gating or anything like that, because we were testing a bunch of stuff. We didn't have the time to do it. And this is the chip that's been, that we've just got back. And then this is the one that we've just sent. A real packed design, that one. With, I don't know, we don't have the, it's not actually very easy to see how many designs there are on here. But what I'm going to do for the rest of the stream is we're going to test some of these designs that I've got back on silicon. Then we're going to have a look at a few of these designs and take a look at see which ones we think are like interesting or exciting to try when we get the silicon back. So is anyone watching who has a design in this first chip that we did? Sylvain obviously is with the factory test. Meinhard. Leo is. So why don't we check out Leo's one sprite pony to get started with. Yeah. Here we go. One sprite pony. And I have the board already connected on my page here. It's not picked up a clock speed there. Clock 0 hertz. Okay, 40 or 10. Oh, I can see something in the monitor there. Let me see if I can edit this layout a bit. Okay. So, Leo, is there any other buttons that I can press that are going to change this, like in the interactive page? Right, I can only do it with my SPI. Kind of remembered that I could change the color, but I don't see it happening. Not really. You can send commands over SPI. Oops, not that one. That one. Okay. Well, that's cool anyway. See that. So anybody else on the stream who's got a design on this IHP test chip? And congrats, Leo, for your design working again on yet another ASIC. So I think we saw mine already working. It's a clock. Oh, look, it's one that's something that's kind of oh yeah, of course. So it's come back. You see, it's like come back to the same time that it was, because they're not like power gated. So it's just like the state is retained in the design when you switching between designs. 32, 39. We go back to let's try this one, Flappy VGA. Okay, see if I can play this remotely. So I've got just one button here. Damn, it's hard. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I give up on that. Sylvain says, yeah, I couldn't pass the first wall. Yeah, neither me. Okay, yeah, Rohan says, yeah, I can't pass the first wall either. Rohan says, try VGA Dino. Anish. So let's take a look at what it needs. No clock info, unfortunately. Ah, 31.5. Okay, no, that's good. Jump button. Going to see if I can turn this monitor slightly without getting too much glare on it. Yeah, it's terrible. I have to play it with the latency of the webcam. It's even harder. Yes. Right, doing better than Flappy Bird. Oh, okay, high score was 129. Okay, so that's good. Thanks for the suggestion, Rohan. What else do we have on here? What other VGA stuff do we have? Raybox Zero from Anton. I can't remember how you steer this. Oh, there's the textures. Reset it. Okay. And there we go. You have to tilt your head on the side for this one. Okay, great. What else have we got? No time for squares. Okay, then the clock is working. There was a Super Mario one. I might try that one. See if I can get the audio going. Let's power up the scope now, in case. "100 kilohertz on the clock." Reset N. So reset it. And then it should be making some differential sound over the connected piezo speaker, which is connected to pins 0 and 1. So probably the VGA monitor is not enjoying that. It's not saying anything on the scope there. So that's outputs 0 and 1. Sylvan's saying might need a reset. We've got the clock. Oh, it's bidirectional. Totally wrong place. Okay, that's looking better. All right. So I might try to put that little piezo speaker in. I'm not sure if you'll actually be able to hear it or not, though. But I'll tell you if it works. Yes, it does work. I brought it over here so I can put it next to the mic. Let me see if I can get this so that you can hear it. Whoop. There's a big pop here. All right, start straight away. No, I'm not sure if my audio noise cancellation. Can you hear it? Let's see what it's like running a bit faster. There you go. Super Mario at 1 megahertz. Let's change my audio back. All right. So that's cool. Nice to have a little music one on there. I think if I had more time, then I would also be good to set up this AY38913. If you've not seen this one or played with it, it's a really cool chiptune chip. And I'm pretty sure that Ray has done a couple of recordings. You can see how nicely documented it is. Test code, play the tune. So if you've got a Tiny Tape Out 5, it's also on Tiny Tape Out 5. You can download this these YM files and try that out to get some really nice chiptune stuff. So that is really great news. IHP first test chips working. That's obviously we're very happy about that. Now we're waiting for our second test chips, which unfortunately they didn't get manufactured when they were meant to be, so they were sent late. So that's on 0.2. So there we did have the MUX in place there. So those are the ones that have been I think we sent them at this because they got missed off the shuttle they're meant to be on, so that's just been sent off. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about today was this one, 25A. So this is the most recent shuttle, and just some administration side of things. So this is the development work of all three of these chips has been funded by the Swiss Chips Initiative, and the manufacturing of the silicon was funded by the German BMBF project with this code. And this one has an absolute ton of designs on it. So I was thinking we could have a look through these designs and see which ones we think will be interesting to test. Anyone here in the watching now submitted a design on this chip? I think it included a lot of the digital designs from 8 and 9. Yeah, like the VGA donut from Andy Sloan. So this should have all the demo scene projects on it. So we took all that we could from 8, 9, and 10 and put them on this one chip. That's why it's so packed. And also, we took, I think, about 150 or 200 designs from workshops, and Tamash compressed them all into single designs. I think that's what this is. Extremely cool secret stuff. Okay, let's take a look. Sam's got digital desk clock. Yep, Sam Ellicott. Okay. And what's the output there? That's like a 6 segments or something like that for the clock drive. Yeah, 6 7-segment displays. Nice documentation, Sam. And Thomas, hi Thomas. Linear time. Oh, you got your time code. We were talking about that at DTU, weren't we? Time code. Thomas Flummer. Okay, and it makes audio PMOD on the bidirectional port, give levels usable for audio gear. Cool. Got a ring oscillator from Anton. Not with a Sky 130 anymore. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about that. Okay, so hopefully that should work. Stefan put on a 4-bit CPU from a popular German textbook. Mini RISC 5. I would love for RISC-V CPUs to provide in their documentation like a test script. Because if you're coming to a CPU cold and you need to get some assembly together or something like that and know where the CPU is expecting to read and write memory to, it can be a bit challenging. It's great to have a kind of get you started up and running. Okay, we've got another chip tune from Reg. 6489. Oh, that was used in the BBC Micro. One of my first computers. More great documentation. Oh, and look, here's these are the videos I was remembering. Tiny tape out. Fantastic. Put the link to the test music there if anyone's interested in checking out some more chip tunes. Oh, Uri put his giant ring oscillator on there with 3,853 stages. Cool. Leo's got your tiny shader on there again. See, that's a design I'd like to go spend a bit more time playing around with. If anyone's got, what other chips did Tiny Shader go on, Leo? Tiny Shader 6. If anyone else out there's got Tiny Shader, very nice project from Leo Moser, with some really cool documentation. So it lets you can write a tiny little shader, and then you can load it into the chip, and then yeah, it's a shader. 64 by 48, very low resolution, but very fun to play with, and you get this language to play with. And I think we did covered that on the Tiny Tape Out 6 Bring Up Party. Leo Shader. There we go. So this in the background here, you can see is one of the shaders working there. Yeah, some real cool stuff happening. So I'll just drop that timestamp in the comments if people want to check that out. Leo says, share your shaders if you find some interesting ones. Sam's asking, is the shader compiler in the Silicon 2? And Leo says, no, just some Python code. What's drum? That sounds cool. Approximate multiplier. Dynamic range unbiased multiplier. Never heard of that before. Some FIFOs, multipliers. Guess that's from the demo scene. over-engineered checkers. That sounds fun. That's from Tamash. Reproduces classic checkers demo by Ray on the VGA playground. So that's this one. Oops. But each layer is generated by a separate module written in a different Python-based HDL. Oops. Here we go. Layer A. So this is Amaranth. My HDL. That's really cool. Is Tamash on the stream? Very cool idea, Tamash. I like it. I'd never even heard of these other ones. So yeah, if people are interested in checking out some Python-based HDLs, take a look at Tamash's design there. Sit back and enjoy. Where do we get up to? There we go. Brilliance. ASCII to Braille converter. Push-pull solenoid actuators. Oh, we've got another hack CPU. Cool. Nice documentation. Just add the binary code to the RAM. Let's hope the binary code was supplied in the repo. Maybe not. I could be in source, actually. Well, I couldn't find it. Hack CPU is, if I'm not mistaken, comes from the NAND to Tetris course, which is a great course if you're interested in learning about computer architecture fundamentals. Quite a few people on the 0 to ASIC course have done it, and the CPU you end up making is called the Hack CPU or Hack SoC. And Maximo Balestrini was the first person that I knew who put that on an ASIC. And I think it was Noam Neeson was interviewed recently for the Embedded podcast. Shimon, this one. If you're not a fan of the Embedded podcast, I give it a recommend. And this was an interview with one half of the duo that made the NAND Tetris course. Sam saying checking the test bench. I think I did check there. It looks to me like it's oh. SPI RAM. Oh, look at that. It's hard coded into the test file. Cool. Great. So that would be good to try that one out. Oh, look, another one from Leo, wire cube. Okay, I think so. We've already probably maybe seen that one before from the competitions. Wire cube, yeah, there we go. It's good to have that another one on. More the demo scene competitions on there. Leo's clearly a graphics fan. Also, I want to give Leo a shout out for setting up fossychat.org. In fact, I'm going to drop that link in the comments and show it on the screen. If you're not joined up yet, then FossyChat is the new open source Silicon Slack. Now that eFabless is gone, that Slack is going into free mode, so it will lose its history. So we're moving to this Element server, and you can join up with that link that I put on the screen there. And we're talking about the IHP PDK here. We've got people talking about new shuttles here. And we've got a channel about Tiny Tape out on IHP here. So feel free to join the chat there. Okay, just got a couple more minutes left. Let's take a look at some of these huge ones. What's that? Super mic. 8-channel customizable beamforming signal processor. That sounds awesome. Cool stuff makes cool stuff happen. Yes. Plug cool stuff into the chip and it will output cool stuff. I love it. What's this one? ChatGPT generated spiking neural network with delays. There's the Atari 2600. Good to see that one made it. Sublec from Uri. Zoom. What's Zoom? Custom CPU. Some Cordic accelerators. Nice. Random number generator. Noise source sampled by digital circuit. That's cool. How does the noise source work? And then conditioned using SHA-256. Cool. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this this chip spectrogram extractor. It's great to have sent that off to IHP, and thanks to the whole team for making that work and all the contributors for your cool designs. And thanks for tuning in. What else do I have to say at the end? Thanks for joining. So yeah, last couple of weeks have been a bit spotty because I've been away, but I do intend to keep this up on a weekly cadence. So keep tuning in Mondays, 5 p.m. Central European summertime. Now the time zone's changed again. And yeah, just sign up to the channel, subscribe to the newsletter and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for tuning in. End stream.